EPA Midway meteorologist Bobby Martin here with your outlook for February 15th, 2021. For your Monday, we're going to have this weak area of low pressure offshore, some streaming moisture out ahead of it. The two of them are combined for some very light, spotty precipitation this morning. Continuation of some areas had some of that overnight. There's going to be some freezing rain, very light freezing rain off to the south, very comparable to what we had on Saturday night. It was very spotty, very intermittent, and some places didn't get anything at all. But areas further northwest will get a little bit of light snow, nothing to really get excited about though, generally coating to an inch for most of those areas. Some light freezing rain or drizzle further southeast, and in between a little bit of sleet. And that's just going to be this morning. We see that here on the NAM high-res future simulated radar. Starting us off at 8 o'clock in the morning. Again, some spotty, light freezing drizzle down in these areas. Sleet in the middle, and this is just light. And same thing up here with these intermittent snow showers. And that's going to go through the course of the morning. This is like an antecedent wave coming through. And that's going to go through about noon or maybe 1 o'clock at the latest. And then that's out of here. And then we get a break where it's just cloudy this afternoon before the main show starts. And that is going to bring us our icing concern, our major icing concern that we're looking at, or at least significant, across parts of the region. I don't expect this to be a big snow producer, and we do have a snow map out for this, but it's going to be really just for these areas far northwestern portions of our coverage area in north central Pennsylvania. They get any kind of amounts that'll be worth mentioning. I was surprised to see some of the high totals by the National Weather Service out here by the State College area, expecting 4 to 7 inches of snow. I don't see that. I just don't. We have that area in a 1 to 2 actually, and that might be generous, but we'll see. I don't think it's going to be a snow event. I think it's mainly the main show here is going to be freezing rain, and the majority of this freezing rain is going to occur as we get, with the storm system coming itself. We'll start to pick up again after that break this afternoon. We're going to get that start to come in here in early to mid-evening this evening. Okay, so that's going to come back in with this area of low pressure pushing this ahead, and I move this forward from this point, and you can see this area of low pressure making its way toward the region. So it's going to start to pick up. It is go from nothing this afternoon, and then we get early to mid-evening, we start to get some lighter stuff come back in, and then the heavier stuff will come through overnight. And the track of this low was always going to be critical where this freezing rain was going to occur. I don't think you might get a little bit of snow at the onset for our far northern and northwestern areas, and maybe a little bit of sleet, but I think this is primarily a freezing rain event, and that's our big concern as this low goes right over the Delmarva Peninsula and ends up over South Jersey. But you can see some very heavy freezing rain amounts right across the midsection here, right along I-78 especially, and that's going to hang on pretty long there. I think those areas might not change over to plain rain at all, and it's going to favor the valley locations for that to hold on to that cold air longer, because we have a cold air damming situation. You have high pressure sitting over the top of the system, keeping the cold air at the surface, even though the warm air is coming into the mid-levels, and it's a pretty big warm wedge. So it's going to melt the snowflake as it falls through that warm layer, from the clouds through the warm layer. It melts, turns into a raindrop, comes down to the surface, and then freezes on contact because everything is colder and below freezing at the surface. So that's where you get your freezing rain, and there's a big area here expecting to get freezing rain from this, and that will wrap up on Tuesday morning relatively early, and then this system is going to pull away. Now I want to go through the timing of this with the NAM 3 kilometer here. It doesn't go again. You're going to get, as you get into the evening, early to mid-evening, you start to see some generally lighter precipitation start to work back in, and then you get the heavier stuff move in as this just keeps getting steadier and heavier as we get into mid to late evening hours. And then you have this freezing rain across the same midsection. Again, could start off as snow or sleet up here for the main batch of precipitation coming through, and then this is going to continue through the night and go into early Tuesday morning. Now, here's the issue I have with the NAM 3 kilometer, and I expressed this on the Weather Weekly's video that I did on Sunday, and I realized it was Valentine's Day. Not everybody saw this explanation of why I'm going against the models here. The models are just guidance. They give you the right idea of what's going to happen, and sometimes you, as a meteorologist, you have to not only do cross sections of the cross sections of the different layers of the atmosphere and soundings reviews, which is a little bit more technical beyond what the model surface reflections are showing, like I'm showing you here. But you also have to use a little bit of common sense. And the common sense tells you that in this situation, you have a cold air damming situation, that typically the valley locations are going to hold on to this cold longer. Now up here, you don't have an issue with cold hanging on, but you get some valley locations in here that are going to really benefit from that cold air damming. So we have this area up here in one of our highest areas, including the Lehigh Valley, northwest New Jersey, in the highest areas of freezing rain accrual for that reason. That's one reason anyway. So it's starting to change it over to rain here, and I don't think this is correct at all for two reasons. One, there's an extensive snowpack here in this area. This is looking at this morning, what the snowpack is expected to be this morning. This is snow on the ground. What the snow does is helps insulate the ground, the air above it. I call that the icebox effect. So you have a cooler in the summertime, it's hot, you have beverages in it, you have ice in the cooler. It could be 90 degrees out, but you open the lid of the icebox and then you stick your hand in there to try to grab whatever favorite beverage you want to grab in there, and you feel a cold air rush as you open the cooler. So you don't have to touch the ice to get the cool air. It's sitting above it, and that's the same concept with this. This is helping to insulate because the snow on the ground has been there a while. It's pretty much a block of ice. It's not really, snow's cold, right? So it's frozen. It's going to have that little bit of an insulating layer just above the surface that's going to keep you colder just above the surface. So the model cannot resolve this. The model can't say, models it looks at if A then B situation. It's a computer program. So it says, okay, well, it's 33 degrees and it's raining, so it's not freezing. That's not going to be the case. It's not going to take this into account. And therefore, when the model's showing this at this is 3 a.m. It's showing some rain getting up pretty far up in these areas, right along I-78 from Harrisburg over to Allentown. Well, yeah, the temperature's showing 32, 33 degrees, but you really think it's going to be 32, 33 degrees at this point? I don't. Okay, so I just don't think this is correct with the temperatures here, and especially with the cold air damming in those valley locations. I think those areas are really going to stay below freezing for the entire event, going right into Tuesday morning. This is going to end. This is looking at 6 a.m. right here. Here's 7. Here's 8. Here's 9. It's gone already. So it's going to end pretty quick. It's just a question of does it change over. And if it does change over in some of these areas that we have highlighted in the highest freezing rain total areas, it's going to be at the very, very tail end. Because later in the day, on Tuesday, temperatures are going to rise in the mid to upper 30s. So whatever ice you had is going to start to begin to melt. It's not going to be an immediate process. Ice doesn't just go poof and vanish just like nothing. Okay, it's going to gradually melt, all right? And it's not going to be like it's 60 out where it's going to melt quickly. It's going up in the mid to upper 30s during the afternoon, so it will start to melt and things will improve. But the morning is going to be crap, okay? So just bank on that for this particular system. So we did our snow map here. I'll pull this up here. This is our snow map that we put out, or excuse me, the ice map, the ice accrual map. These areas here are our target areas for the highest of accrual of ice, which is going to be between 0.25 and 0.35. I know the National Weather Service actually has an ice storm warning for these areas for a quarter to a half inch, but I think the half inch is probably going to be out of reach. 0.25 to 0.35 is probably the more realistic amount, and that's our highest level on the map. We also have that back here in our elevation areas of the Appalachians out here in heading toward west central Pennsylvania. This area C is also pretty big too, between 0.15 and 0.25. So there's a big area here of freezing rain, but this area has a better chance of turning over to rain here before it ends. This area, I don't think so. Okay, so that's where we're going with our maps. All right, so that's the idea, and that is going to end early on Tuesday morning, and then this is going to pull away. We do have another system behind this that's going to come in here on Thursday. This one I think is going to be is very similar in a lot of ways, but it's going to start off as snow this time. The reason for that is because this system, in the wake of this system, if you look at the 546 decameter line, which is the isopleth of the 546 heights, the decameter heights, it is all the way up here like this. Okay, what this does when this pulls away, it actually drops those heights or lowers those heights behind it. The height field is lowered and it becomes more flat. Here's our 546 at this point, straight down here. So you have colder air at all levels of the atmosphere as this is coming in. The next system comes in, so it comes in as snow. So I do think you're going to get a front-end thump of snow on this. Well, how much is it going to be, we have yet to determine, but it could be, 1 to 3, 2 to 4, maybe even 3 to 6. inches of snow before it changes over to freezing rain. I do think it changes over again because it's going to take a very familiar track. You can see that here, but you're going to get some snow on the front end this time instead of just going from light freezing rain to freezing rain. You know, that's pretty much it, or very little snow to freezing rain, like we're going to have with this one. So this is Thursday. This is coming in on Thursday morning, and it's going to change over at some point Thursday evening to freezing rain from south to north. And then you're going to have some rain here farther southeast of I-95, and then this is going to pull away here on Friday morning, very early. Again, Friday morning, it's going to pull away. So this is another system we're going to have to watch, and this is going to be another snow and ice maker for this one here on Thursday. But some of you in the interior that did not get any snow out of this or are not going to from this particular system coming in tonight into tomorrow morning, it's going to be a little bit more snow to deal with, at least in the front end before it changes over this time. So get something to add to your snow totals. But after this point, we clear this out here. We turn colder over the weekend, and we're expecting partly cloudy skies right now for both Saturday and Sunday, with temperatures below average in the low to mid 30s. I'm EPA meteorologist Bobby Martris. That is your outlook for February 15th, 2021. Have a great Monday.